High school sports, we've got it covered. Overtime starts now.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Overtime. I'm Scott Leber.
And I'm David Greenberg. It's been a busy night of football. Chances are you were at a game tonight. That's why we are here to get you caught up on what you missed elsewhere as we span the state line for highlights.
You and I both headed west for NUIC action. Tim Bailey was out at another Nick 10 game tonight. He'll join us in a bit. We'll also have our flashback segment and our play of the night.
Later on, I'll bring you a feature story on Hononegah's electrifying Indian Bryce Goodwine. Let's get to the action, starting with our game of the week. Scott, you had this one covered.
Yeah, I certainly did. The Forreston Cardinals took on the Dupac Rivermen in a key NUIC game at Pecatonica. Love the Dupac entrance. Now get this, Dupac was without head coach Tyler Hoffman. He was unable to make it to the game, so the rest of his staff ran the show. Forreston rushed for almost 500 yards last week, but it was slow going tonight for the Cardinals. Trent Hetland got a hold of Noah Johnson on this play for the loss. Dupac also had 4 takeaways in the first half. Hunter Hoffman going to work, throws over the middle. Bo Seaton has it. Cards will finally wrestle him down. Hoffman here going to go for the end zone. And that's one way to stop Hoffman. Get those hands up. That's 6'5" Mason Fox who batted the ball down. Forreston now going to go for it here on 4th down. Deep in its own territory late in the 3rd. Again, Johnson had nowhere to go. Jake Anderson was on the bottom of that pile for the tackle. Dupac takes over. It's Hoffman going to the air and a Bo Seaton. Seaton had a great game tonight. Hoffman again knocking on the door, throwing. Again, it's Seaton, and he has it for his 2nd touchdown catch of the night. 28-0 Dupac at that point. Forced in the pitch here to Devon King Black, but Hetland comes up and wraps him up. What a game Hetland played on defense. Here's some more of that Dupac defense. Noah Musselman chasing down Dyson there for the tackle for loss. Dupac posts the shutout. That doesn't happen to Forreston very often. 28-0, the final score. Tell me how things opened up for you and Hunter there to get those 2 scores.
The defense was just sagging off, and we just banged those quick routes, and then dig route opened up at the end of the first half, and then we were just banging those hitches all game.
We just mastered physicality and even more the whole game. It all came at the line. If we didn't have that D-line tonight, we wouldn't have gotten anywhere because they just pounded down your throat the whole game. So props to them.
We thought we were super prepared. We were watching film all week, and we knew it was going to be a tough physical game, and we just executed great. Our defense did amazing, and our line up front did excellent.
Did you see some growth from the offense in particular tonight? I know last week at East Dubuque you weren't real happy.
Oh, yeah, it was a rough start last week, but this week we stepped it up big time, and we made some big-time plays. And we can show that we can move the ball really quick.
Great effort there. That game was the main event in the NUIC, but David, you saw a pretty good game undercard at Lena Winslow.
Yeah, Dakota was at Lena, and these are 2 football teams loaded with track stars. So the odds were good that there are going to be some big plays in this one, and Scott, the odds were in our favor. Right off the bat, Luke Benson hands it to Ethan Fye, and Fye says a bye-bye, shaking defenders, and housing this one to put the Panthers up early. Then it was number 43 who wanted a piece of the action. Mari Roby using a little shimmy shake, high step, and just to top it off, truck stick into the end zone. That kid is special. Already up 14-0, the Panthers take to the air. Luke Benson on the bootleg finds Zach White on the post in the back corner of the end zone. Lena Winslow improves to 2-0 with a 46-0 shutout of Dakota. Go to Stockton now for more NUIC action. The Blackhawks hosted EPC. Both teams looking for their first win. Kellen Hensey might be one of the best athletes in the conference, but there's no escaping Jamie Stocks and Griffin Luke here. That is a Stockton sack. Blackhawks have it now just outside the goal line, and watch this. If you miss it, that's okay, because so did our cameraman, and so did the EPC defenders. Jace Phillips sneaks his way into the end zone for a touchdown. Now watch this defensive effort from Michael Haas. Looking like Jadavian Clowney getting in the backfield that quickly to blow it up. Just a couple plays later, though, Hensey keeps it around the right side and muscles his way in for the answer. But it was not enough as Stockton pulls out the 18-13 win.
In the other NUIC game tonight, Fulton beat East Dubuque 30-20. We're going to dial in the Nick 10 conference next.
That means Tim Bailey joins us in the house. We'll discuss the game between Belvidere North and Boylan. Which one of these 2 teams would bump up its record to 2-0?
These kids can play. That's the line being applied to the Boylan Titans, a team that relies heavily on some sophomores in key positions.
Last week, those sophomores shined in a 68-14 win against Jefferson. Could they provide more of that same firepower tonight against Belvedere North? As always, the student section's rocking. The Blue Thunder's game plan is ground and pound. Quarterback Mason Weckler fakes the handoff and keeps it himself. Is good enough for a first down. When you got everyone thinking run, you take a shot, and that's exactly what they did. Weckler hooks up with Joseph Brown deep over the middle. Later in the second quarter, Weckler's forced to his right, tries to go back across the field here, but John Grant comes up with the interception for the Titans. They'll return this back to get Boylan some good field position. This is a low-scoring affair, so every point counts, including field goals. That is booted through by Aiden Montez. North led 6-0 at half and pulls out the road win 20-6.
Our Nick 10 analyst from Mercy Health Top Performers and a former Nick 10 standout, Tim Bailey, joins us now to discuss this one. Tim was at the game. And Tim, at all respect to Belvedere North, everybody knows they've got a really good program there, but I think this final score maybe surprised several people around the Nick 10, including myself. Not that I didn't think Belvedere North could win, but to win 20-6. What did you see tonight that stood out, that tilted the game in Belvedere North's favor?
I saw tonight a Belvedere North team that's for real. They made a statement tonight. They come to compete this year, and I think they will. Played outstanding offensively. They did some things outstanding. They even passed tonight. Belvedere, if you know Belvedere North's offense, it's a run-dominant offense. But when they needed to pass, they capitalized. And that's why they probably came out victorious tonight, because some of the things they did offensively so well. But a great game. Tip my hat off to the coaches for getting those kids prepared for a big game such as you saw tonight.
Would you say this score tonight was more on Boylan's mistakes, or would you say this is more credit to Belvedere North?
Well, you got to tip your hat off again to the coaches at Belvedere North for getting the kids prepared for a big game. You go into Boylan Stadium, it's a hostile environment. Mm-hmm. It's a tough environment to play in. But Belvedere North responded. I think the coaches did a phenomenal job getting the guys ready. And again, Belvedere North with their offense, they're not going to wow you with anything. They're just a really sound, fundamentally sound team. And they got it done tonight.
Speaking of Belvedere North's offense, they have Mason Weckler in his first year as the starting quarterback this year, the son of a coach who used to coach at Belvedere and DeKalb. But what did you see from him tonight? What kind of promise does he have? What can he add? What dimensions does he add to that Belvedere North offense?
He's a facilitator, number one. Okay. He was able to get the offense rolling. If you go back and you watch the game, and you'll see, just continue to move the ball. And they did that really well. And I think sometimes, when you're playing in a big game, it's hard to really get a good start and gather that momentum and also to maintain that momentum. But, throughout the entire game from, first half to second half, Belvedere North just maintained that momentum, and that's why they came out victorious.
And on the flip side, for Boylan, their quarterback, Connor Dennis, very bright future ahead, made a few mistakes tonight. What are some areas you think he can focus on to improve for his future?
Well, he's a young kid. He's a sophomore. So, I'd personally like to see him just to be a little bit more relaxed in the pocket. And just understand, you're the leader now.
And that comes with reps.
Absolutely. I think with reps in the weeks to come, I think we're going to be talking about this kid. Hopefully, these kids go in and they watch film, Sunday or Monday. He learns from his mistakes and he comes back out next week, and we don't see those mistakes. So I think he'll do that.
We all know Hononegah and Harlem are at another level, but can Belvedere North or Boylan in the trenches compete, do you think, with a Harlem or a Hononegah? Can they be competitive in the trenches?
Yeah, I think they can. Both Belvedere and Boylan have Belvedere North and Boylan have great offensive line, defensive lines. Again, it's really early in the season, so it's you really can't put too much on the game. Games that happen in week 1 and week 2. Hopefully everybody stays healthy. But again, both of these teams here still have to play some really tough competition in the weeks to come.
Belvedere North 2-0 now. They got to be feeling pretty good there.
Absolutely.
Tim, thanks for joining us once again.
Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, Tim Bailey, folks. Let's find out what happened elsewhere in the Nick 10 tonight.
Hononegah had that big win over Harlem last week. Tonight, the Indians were at Guilford. The Indians without quarterback Isaac Wizenan for this one. But here's a great throw and catch from backup QB Cole Warren to wide receiver Dylan Sales. That picks up a nice chunk. Then later, Guilford, Bryce Walker throwing a nice screen pass to Davion Black, able to pick up the first down. Then the Indians no-huddle offense. Too much for Guilford. Defense is Hononegah. Stuart Hale gets the carry and picks up a big stretch of yards. Indian quarterback Warren able to finish off the drive with a touchdown, as you see, sneaking it in for 6, and then check out this sequence of events here. Guilford's running back, Javon Jones, gets the handoff, gets past the first line of defense, and then gets stripped by Dylan Seymour. However, the Indians can't get their hands on the ball, and Guilford wide receiver Mike Smith picks it up, takes an awkward stumble. He was able to walk off the field under his own power, but yes, we do hope he is all right. Hononegah goes to 2-0 with a 30-7 win over the Vikings.
All right, Freeport Pretzels and the Auburn Knights were both looking to improve to 2-0. They squared off at Wyatt Stadium. Freeport's first snap of the game, check this out. Xavier Segner was not expecting the football, goes right by him. The Knights recover it deep in Freeport territory. Knights take over on offense, hand it off to Nivion Jackson. He is going nowhere. Slammed down by big number 64, Joseph Smith. Oshavian Dismuke now rolling, throwing, and he's got Caleb Burnell in the end zone. Touchdown, Auburn. Freeport back on offense next. Segner's going to dump it off to one of his playmakers, Diedrich Macon. He has big playability, but the Knights defense contains his play pretty well. This game was unbelievable, back and forth. The Pretzels won a wild one tonight that ended around 10:40 p.m., 25-24 on a late touchdown.
At Harlem, the Huskies hosted Jefferson. Harlem trying to bounce back from their loss at Hononegah in the first quarter. All Jefferson, but Harlem Huskies, the Jayhawks QB Nick James scrambling for 6, but not enough for the first down. In the second quarter, a big run for Adrian Palos as he makes a few people miss and gets the Huskies into the red zone. Here's a big sack now by Jefferson linebacker Joseph Alvarez, but oh no, an unnecessary roughness flag for the body slam. Not allowed to do that. A few plays later, a great sideline catch for 6 by Mahari Taylor, able to tiptoe in bounds. Check out this one right before halftime. Adrian Palos gets the carry as he reaches for the goal line, drops the ball, but he's able to pick it up. Harlem scored 35 unanswered in the second quarter. They win this one 56-22.
All right, that's the final score on that one. As we continue along here, coming up in a bit, we're going to take a closer look at one of the most exciting athletes in the Nick 10, not just on the football field, but also on the baseball diamond, and Hononegah's Bryce Goodwine. It's rare when a big northern team or any team goes into Byron's Everett-Stein Stadium and comes away with a win. Now and then it happens, but not too often.
Yeah, that's right. The Tigers protected their home turf last Friday night with an impressive 35-0 win over Stillman Valley. Tonight was Winnebago that went into Byron and took a shot at the Tigers. Byron marched downfield to the red zone on their first drive. Braden Smith hands off to Andrew Klontz. Sheds a few, but would be, and then into the end zone. 7-0, Byron lead. Tigers now back into the red zone. Smith hands off to Klontz again, and he'll lower the shoulder to put Byron up 14-0. Bago ball now. Looking for a spark on offense. Alec Weevil going to hand off to Willem Speltz, and James Cone comes screaming through the middle for a huge hit. Next possession for Byron. Smith hands off to Chandler Binkley. Speeds past defenders, lowers his shoulder, and into the end zone to make it 21-0 Byron. In the second quarter now, Byron knocking on the door. Ethan Paulskill gets the handoff and keeps the legs churning to get into the end zone. 28-0. Byron goes up. They pick up the big-time win over Bago, 41-13.
On to Stillman Valley for the Cardinals and the Rock Falls Rockets. Stillman dominated the first half of this game, so the backups were in there for the second half when we were there. Sophomore QB Brandon Engel on the pitch here to the running back. That's not going too far. Rock Falls, in fact, forcing the fumble. The Rockets recovered. Rock Falls now on offense. They'll throw it over the middle, tipped, and it's picked off by the Cardinals safety. Nice return there on the comeback. Stillman Valley not letting off the gas pedal here on offense. The pitch out. The running back will turn the edge, and the defenders finally catch up to him, but a nice gain there to move the chains inside the 30. Rockets later with the football. Carter Schuler takes the handoff. Watch this hit. He's going to get popped right there by a couple of Cardinals. A few plays later, Rock Falls going to the air, and it's another Stillman Valley pick right into the breadbasket there. Big night for the Cardinals. They bounced back from that loss in Byron last week with a 48-0 win. Also in the Big Northern, in Dixon, the Dukes stomped North Boone 50-7, and a bit of a surprising result there. I did not expect such a lopsided score in that one. Genoa Kingston took it to the Crusaders, winning this one 35-6. And the Oregon Hawks come away with a 45-20 win over the Royal Lions of Rockford Christian.
Here's what happened in 8-man football tonight. Milledgeville beat Amboy 24-12. Polo blew out AFC 56-0, and South Beloit outdueled River Ridge 44-30.
Let's take another break, but do not go anywhere.
We'll meet a young man who takes a backseat to no one in the Nick 10 Conference in 2 sports. Our feature story on Hononegah's Bryce Goodwine is next. It's probably easier to ask Hononegah senior Bryce Goodwine what positions don't you play than it would be for him to list off all the ones that he does. While there's plenty of talent at the high school level in Northern Illinois, Goodwine might just be the most dynamic of them all. We feature him this week in our Spotlight segment. Whether it's making highlight reel grabs along the sideline or making diving grabs in the outfield, senior Bryce Goodwine is like the Bo Jackson of Hononegah High School.
You're a defensive back, receiver, running back, kicker, and kick returner. And then in baseball, you're a switch hitting outfielder that hit .451 last year. Were you always a do-it-all kind of athlete?
Yeah. I mean, I just always had the natural ability, so I kind of just used it for whatever I could, and whether it's football, baseball, anything, I always just give it my best and work hard at it.
Goodwine has been playing sports for as long as he can remember. Coming up through the ranks, he had built quite a reputation in the Indians junior tackle program.
He was always the fastest kid, most athletic on baseball field, football field, no matter what. He always played up too in football.
They were talking about, oh, we got this kid, and every time we give him the ball, he scores a touchdown. And I said, well, that's pretty impressive at the junior tackle level, but I said, we'll see what happens in high school.
And after getting to high school, Zimmerman had no choice but to move him up to varsity.
What I didn't realize was the impact he would have on all aspects of the game.
There's a certain silent edge to Bryce that makes him special.
I hate losing. I can't stand losing. It's something that ever since growing up, I could not handle it. And I mean, the harder you work, the less likely you are to lose. So that always pushes me to work harder.
Just by talking to him, you wouldn't know of his pedigree. He credits his family for keeping him grounded.
They keep me humble. They keep me going. They give me motivation to play better. So my family definitely.
As a leader, Goodwine has always been hardest on himself. That is something his coach believes will help him at the next level.
I've asked him, let me know if you get overwhelmed by things. Let me know if we're asking too much of you on a Friday night in football. And he never does, so I think he takes it in stride, and like I said, being the perfectionist that he is, I think that he likes that pressure. Certainly, we're a much better team and a much better place because of his presence.
Goodwine told me he hopes to continue playing in college, and whether that's football, baseball, or both, now that is a decision we will all be waiting for.
Every time he steps on the field of play, no matter which sport, you just expect something exciting to happen.
Exactly.
Well, here's the Nick 10 score we didn't have for you a bit earlier. East routed Belvedere 64-17. Good to see the E-Raps perform so well after what they've been through the last couple weeks. Our play of the day is next, but first, it's our overtime flashback. It was October 18th, 2013. 7-0 Stillman Valley hosted 6-1 Lutheran. Tristan Elliott gave Stillman the lead when he streaked 21 yards for a touchdown early in the second quarter. It was 14-13 Cardinals. Elliott was one of 3 Cardinals to rush for more than 100 yards in the game. But Lutheran's offense was strong on the ground and through the air. James Robinson rushed for 192 yards and scored 3 touchdowns before he left the game with cramps in the third quarter. Crusader quarterback Kendall Lawson was sensational. He ran for a pair of touchdowns. He also passed for 283 yards. The Crusaders won the game 33-28, their second straight win over Stillman Valley. Each week we'll spotlight a play of the week.
The best play caught on our cameras. Let's go back to Lena. Luke Benson heaves it up awkwardly across his body, tipped by the defender, then one-handed caught by Brody Mann. Look at this body control and concentration to bring this one down. No question, Scott, that is worthy of our play of the night.
Brody Mann's just a flat-out player, both sides of the football. He's unbelievable. You said earlier, Mari Roby, especially, I think every guy on that team for Lena Winslow is a special player.
Well, here's what's on tap for next week. In the Nick 10, Auburn plays at East. Boylan travels to Belvedere. Belvedere North will take on Jefferson. Freeport travels to Hononegah, and Guilford will play at Harlem.
These are the matchups in the Big Northern Conference. Byron will be playing at Lutheran. Dixon will play at Rockford Christian. Genoa Kingston will play at North Boone, and Stillman Valley at Oregon. Rock Falls will play at Winnebago.
In the NUIC, it'll be Stockton at Dakota, Dupac at Fulton, Forston at EPC, Lena, Winslow at Galena, and East Dubuque in a non-conference game at Deerfield, Wisconsin.
Looks like we're having some problem with our graphics. That's why you can't see those, but we'll continue to read them to you. 8-man football schedule features Amboy at Polo, Aquin at Olden Hebron, River Ridge at Milledgeville, Hiawatha at Orangeville, and South Beloit at Prairie City.
Other games include Rochelle at Richmond Burton, Canelan at Sycamore, Belleville West at DeKalb, Harvard at Woodstock, and Marengo at Johnsburg.
All right, a reminder, catch Overtime every Friday night through the season live at 11 p.m. here on Fox 39. We'll also rebroadcast it Sunday mornings at 9 on Fox 39.
And for highlights and scores anytime, go to our website, mystateline.com. That's our show.
We'll see you next Friday. Have a great weekend.